If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. Tangled in my head, replaying memories. Close my eyes and pray for some kind of clarity. A dream in black and white, it's all that I see. I can feel it in my bones when I see your face. It's the cruelest kind of dream, driving me insane. If sleep is for the weak, you know I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality, and you never love me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. If rest is for the dead, you know where I'll be. 6 feet in the dead, right where you want me. If sleep is for the weak, you know where I'll be. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality, and you never love me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good. Take the pain away. I see you in my sleep, but you always lie. I need you gone for good. Take the pain away. Sleep is for the weak. Take the pain away. There is nothing that takes the pain away. Just darkness that covers everything. I'm losing my grip on reality, and you never love me anyway. I cannot live here in yesterday. You want to see myself away. There's nothing that takes the pain away. Take the pain away.
Hi guys. Hi. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back. And y'all went a little crazy at the beginning of fucking stream. Hi. Luna, welcome in. How are you? Hi, Ace. Thanks for hanging out last night, Ace. It was a lot of fun. Reader Babe. Hi, Reader Babe. How are you? I hope you're doing good. I legit thought that my bot was broken and it was just gonna put everyone in fucking Gryffindor. Sushi! Hi, Sushi. How are you? And Dutchie! Hi, Dutchie. All the friendos are here today. Okay, we figured out the bot was fixed. Let's see. All of the houses. Don't tell the goose to eat your ass, Sushi. That's probably not comfy. That was probably not a fun time. I will leave this stream still being a Slytherin, I swear to God. I didn't even know Mo got in his chair. I didn't even know he was in his chair. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. You want me to pull you closer? Sit still. Sit still. Here we go. We have a Mo. Hey, stop that. You stop that. We have a special guest. Let's see. These emails can fuck off. No chugga-chews. No chugga-chews. Mo, I need my arm back. I need my arm back. Can I give me my arm back. This dog is so spoiled. He's spoiled rotten. Just spoiled rotten. Okay. Put you in Ravenclaw. MJ, thank you for the 100 biddies. I love your face. Thank you so much. Everyone go follow MJ. Go do it. Go follow MJ. Write me out. Write me out. Amber! Hi, Amber. I love your face. I adore you. How are you? Very good melody, Mo. Very good. You rocked it, buddy. Okay. You angry for no reason. Let's see here. I thought they were only Discord emotes. No, I added them to BTTV. Any screenshots that y'all get, I'll add them to BTTV. Like, I don't give a shit. Y'all make emotes on my face. Buttspot, I swear we've been so good lately. Oh no. Fucking the bot is just putting you're in Gryffindor, Sushi. Like, the bot says so. I don't do it. It's RNG. It's RNG. Like, I don't have any control over it. MJ got put in Slytherin. Bitch, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm a Slitherpuff. Honestly, like, I'm either like Hufflepuff or Slytherin. Buttspot attacking Amber again. Get it together. Oh no. Hungover and sick, but looking back at a fun night. How are you? Also, my drunk gallery scared me. Oh no. But I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. We got fun stuff today. We got picked to get early access to a game demo. A little beta test for a game. So we're going to be doing that for the first, like, hour or two of the stream, and then we're going to switch over and do, like, another 3 hours of Devil May Cry. So it's going to be, like, wildly different vibes in games. So today we're going to be playing Mika and the Witch's Mountain. It's been all over Twitter, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is super cute. So it's the description of it is... Mika and the Witch's Mountain is a fantasy adventure about an aspiring witch who delivers packages to the townspeople of a small island. Explore every cranny and soar through the sky with your magic broom. So it's very much like Kiki's Delivery Service vibes. Like, that's the vibes that I'm getting from it. So I'm really excited to play it today. I opened it up for like 2 seconds to format it to my screen. And then I realized there wasn't any, like, options at the beginning, so I'm gonna have to, like, reformat it after the intro plays. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait. Let's see. It's been so quiet lately. Mo, hi Mo. Yeah, Mo is in here. I'm gonna move his chair out of the way if it doesn't push me out of the way first. Because the lazy boys are back here. We got Simba. Finger work for me. Okay, we got Simba right there hiding behind chat. And then Mo. What? Look at Simba. He's so freaking cute. Alright, go lay down, Mo. Go lay down. Buttspot targeting Amber is tradition. It is. It is tradition. It is. Mo, stop yelling at people. Go lay down. Go lay down. All of the houses. We got Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. I hate it here. I'm Slytherin. I'm gonna fight. Don't fight. Don't fight the goose. You might lose. Hufflepuff. Sushi is in Slitherbutt. Oh my god. Tessa! Hi, Tessa. Lego building stream? What Lego set, though? So I feel like this is, like, really loud in my ear. It's really loud in my ear holes, and I feel like I'm yelling at y'all. So I want to do the orchid, the pretty little orchid with the pot at the bottom. I want to do that one. I like the pretty Legos. So this whole goal will cover the cost of the Lego set, which is $50 plus shipping and taxes. And then it'll cover the tripod that I need to buy to have my camera over my desk so y'all could see it. So that's why it's a little bit higher. But yeah, I wanted to do that. I also put it on my throne, which I'll talk about that in a second. Because I updated some stuff up there. There's a video of me dancing, and then this man's is dancing behind me. I spent the whole day so far like it was this man's. Oh no, it was me. And guess what? Ooh, what, MJ? What? This is literally the first time. I'm still sick hours after waking up. Oh, oof, that's rough. Bathtub is clean. Let's go. I need to clean mine. I need to clean my whole house, honestly. That's what I should do tonight. I should clean my bathroom tonight. I don't know if that's, well, my whole house, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Gryffindor? Oh no. Oh no, now she's in Buttfindor. Well said, Buttspot. Buttspot is on one today. Buttspot's ready to fight. That's a good Lego set. Yes, I'm excited. I want to start doing like different things other than games on the channel. Like that's my goal for 2023. Is to do more specialized streams for you guys. Like I want to start doing art streams. I want to start doing Lego streams. I eventually, if I ever get my electric piano that I want to get, I want to do music streams for you guys, like learning different like video game scores and things like that. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm gonna start like crowdfunding for all of that. Because obviously, like, you know, an electric piano set's $150 usually. Lego sets are $50 a piece. Art supplies get expensive, so like it's a lot that I can't all buy on my own, you know. So I wanted to start doing these in case anyone was interested in like helping out. Of course it's not necessary, like none of it's necessary. So it's just something fun. I could go for roasted goose. Just give me my Slytherin. No. I have a Yamaha piano. I used to have one. I used to have an electric keyboard, and then it broke when I moved. It broke in transit when I was moving from my mom's house out to my first apartment. So I couldn't play it anymore. And I haven't had one in like 7 years. Legos! Tessa! Thank you for the $15 donation! Thank you. It's gonna go straight to Legos. I'm really excited. Like, I'm really excited doing stuff for you guys. Like, different content. Like, I had a nice chat with Shady last night. Because I've been down on myself. I've really been down on myself lately about like the channel, and you know, back in August, like I was doing so good, and then I had to step away, and I became really inconsistent for about 6 months. And it sucked. It really sucked, and now I'm like getting back. Holy wait. Wait, who the fuck? Get wrecked, MJ. I don't have it. I don't have alerts set up. Y'all, MJ just bought the fucking orchid set. MJ. I really need to set up throne alerts. I actually do. You know what? Is there a way I could do that quickly right now? Because I keep saying I'm gonna fucking do it, and then I forget to do it. I didn't get you a birthday present? Ma'am, you don't have to do that. You absolutely do not have to. I need to update that anyways now. We're just gonna update things. That's what we're doing.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get so. Smack that.
Get wrecked.
Thank you for the 69 biddies.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get so. Smack that, oh.
I forgot. Oh no. Amber, I know how many biddies you told Joy you had last night.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some
fucking love
more.
you
Smack
guys.
that till you get so. Smack that, oh.
Because.
I need to edit
Smack
this.
that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get so. Smack that, oh.
Y'all are ridiculous. So that was, we're fucking almost there now. Boop. 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 Sorry, I'm just updating the, there we go. Updating that, because we have that now. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening. And then, if I could do this, y'all are fucking ridiculous. Let me go back. Fighters, hi fighters, I love your face. How are you? How are you doing? I need to figure out how to put fucking alerts from Throne up there. Cause like, I never like expected anyone to buy shit. Like, ever. So I was like, I don't need to set up alerts, it's fine. It's fine. Boo-doo-doo-doo, settings, maybe? Integrations? Is that Discord? Aha! Ha 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 ha. Save settings. Let's see. Copy this. I'm doing the things, guys. I'm doing the things. Just don't mind me. Don't mind me. Okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. And then that. And then I keep saying I was gonna fucking do this. Test. Is it gonna do the thing? I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna do the thing. We're gonna see. Y'all ridiculous. Get wrecked, nerd. I love you guys. Okay, let's see. I guess that's just gonna sit there. That's just gonna sit there until I figure it out. That'll be a reminder to figure it out. I'm gonna catch up on chat. Fighters, thank you for the $10 dono. So we're gonna do a Lego building stream. We get to do Lego building stream. I need to figure out when. I need to figure out when I'm gonna do it. Because I don't know. But yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll put it up in the Discord when you guys want me to do that. Okay, I remember everything up until the club. I played some pool with some peeps I met there. I'm surprised by how the socializing went without being shy. Only awkward mistake I made was, hi, I'm Lady Sushi, nice to meet you. That's not an awkward mistake. That's not awkward at all. What up, nerd? What up, nerd? You can let Shady step on a Lego brick in March. Okay, so I was talking to Shady last night, and I was like, I hope you know, like, I'm tempted to buy a GoPro and strap it to my fucking head for when I meet you guys, because, like, I'm gonna be a blubbering mess, like, love you, babe, be safe. My husband's leaving to go out and do some stuff, so, anyways, I was like, I'm gonna buy a GoPro, and I'm gonna attach it to my forehead, and, like, I'm gonna record me meeting you guys, because, one, I'm tackling everyone, like, I'm going full-on spider monkey to everyone, except for Amber. I'm gonna walk up to Amber, and because Amber is taller than me, I'm gonna be like, Amber, uppies. Uppies. But, like, everyone else, I'm tackling the shit out of, because, like, Me and Joy are the shortest people. Everyone else, like, Amber's taller, Madden's taller, Fitz is taller, Shady. Kate's a little bit taller than us. So, like, me and Joy are, like, short, tiny little beans. So I'm going full, like, spider monkey on people. It's just a browser source copy pasta. Yeah. Yeah, it's doing a thing. I don't know if it's gonna, like, work or what. I have no fucking clue, but we'll see. I know, like, I'm gonna wait to add this to, like, my shit, there, onto the other screen. Joy, I see you. I see you. I'm gonna wait to see if I can fix it. Because it's just, like, the little throne logo for now, just floating out in the mid-space. Let's see. MJ, thank you for the 69 biddies. Yay, Lego stream. I know. I'm excited now. I've never done a Lego stream. Amber, thank you for the 69 biddies. I forgot. MJ instigating. Love to see it. Saf. Hi, Saf. Hi, Saf. How are you? Welcome in. I hope you're doing good. Follow-up song? Yes. Fighters, thank you for the 69 biddies. Thank you. Amber for the other 69 biddies. I have to get my lazy ass unfinished. Yakuza. Okay, so I've been told that, like, I should play Yakuza. I have it on my little, like, game list. I've been told that, like, I should play it. But there's a shit ton of games in the series, so I don't know how long it'll take me to get to it. Let's see. All the cat jams and the musics. 41% PP energy. Oh no. Shit. Like, anyone would think you didn't need the star plushies. My little Palpu fruit that Isabel's holding. I'll mind you. MJ, please. 83% Hufflepuff. Oh no. That's what I need help with too. The throne alert thing. Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll ask Shady how to do it. 5%. Oh no, not the 5%. A Gryffindor? Oh shit. Legos! Yes, Legos. You know what Lego you're gonna build? Yeah, so MJ just bought this Lego set. You can't really see it because it's like all, yeah. The orchids. MJ just bought that one for me, so we're gonna do Legos. Joy and Sushi with the chat roulette. Hopefully I set that up right. Like, hopefully I set it up right and it works. I just, like, I need to sit down with someone, like, I need to sit down with someone who has, like, hella points so I could just refund them, to see if it actually fucking works. Because, like, it's a random number generator, and if you have to hit the exact number for it to, like, trigger. So I hope I set it up right. The bot is not with me? No, the bot is not with you. Ooh, what is this? What is this? Okay, we're gonna watch this because I have a feeling this is gonna be great. Which is perfect because this song is ending anyways, so boop. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna fucking watch this. We're gonna pop over to here for a hot second so we could watch this video. Window capture. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Okay, that'll have to do. Okay. And then I need to turn this on. Twitch, don't DMCA strike me. Because this is the beautiful song. Okay. Yes! Okay. Yes! Yes! I just realized. Yes. That's gonna be me. That's gonna be me. Boom! Yes, that is 110% going to be me. In March. Like, yes. Because I think, like, it depends on when Amber and Madden get in, because they're driving. I think I'm the last flight that gets in, because the flight I'm looking at lands at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So like that's the last flight that I'm getting, and I think Fitz and Joy get there before me. So I'm going to like tackle the fuck out of all of them. Like it's yeah, full spider monkey. Cause like okay, let me turn on music again. Let me turn on music. Cause like I was talking with Shady, and like Shady and I have literally been friends for 2 years now. Like in March it will be 2 years since we have first met and first like became friends. So like it's a lot of like time and build up that like is happening. So I'm gonna be a crying mess. Like I'm gonna I was telling him, I was like, this is how it's gonna go. This is exactly how it's gonna go. I'm not gonna sleep the night before. I'm not. I'm gonna be way too goddamn excited. I'm probably gonna stay up the whole night. Then I'm gonna like frantically check all of my luggage and make sure that I got everything that I need. And I'm probably still gonna forget shit. Then I'm going to be so excited when I board the plane. Like I'm gonna be so excited. I'm gonna be like hopping up and down, can't fucking wait. And then I'm gonna have the sudden realization like, oh shit, I'm actually doing this. Like it's gonna be terrifying to me. Like I'm gonna be terrified. And then that's probably gonna be like when I hit, if I have a layover, like it's gonna be like either layover point or like midway point in the flight. And then I'm gonna like when I get to the last half of the travel, I'm gonna have to pee that whole time, but I'm not gonna want to get up because I'm just gonna have to pee again. So like, yeah, that's it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be like frantically, I'm gonna be running through the airport. All I'm gonna fucking do is I'm gonna be running through the airport, and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, trying to find them. I came up with a new story idea, and this one is fantasy. Ooh, that's interesting. I can't wait to hear about it. Start with Yakuza 0 first. Okay, bet. Ravenclaw? Oh god, Sushi really just doesn't want to put you in that house. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, I'm really excited for this Lego set. It's been like, it's gonna be so like difficult because I have not played with Legos in so long, and I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck do I do? But I can't wait. I can't wait. That's the set I got for my oldest niece for Christmas. She fucking loved it. I can't wait. I can't wait. I have hella points. Yes. Okay, so MJ, you might need to help me test out my alert. Or not my alert, but my redeem. It's 150% how I greet people. MJ, when we inevitably meet, I'm fully expecting that. Is this us in March? Yes, it is. It is 100% us in March. If there's no concussion, it wasn't a real first time meetup. No. It isn't. Can't have people hugging me out of the blue. Well, like, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna let them know, like, they're coming in hot. And I'm gonna be screaming. Like, I really am. Like, y'all see how excited I get on stream for things? Amplify that times 10 for IRL, and that is me. Like, I am, compared to how I am IRL, I am relatively calm in person, or like up here on stream. So like, y'all see a fraction of how excitable I am. So like the only time you get like true chill Annie is when I'm feeling really low energy. But like I have to dial it back a lot because it's so much. Like, y'all would be like, this bitch is crazy. I didn't sleep for like 2 days before LA. Yeah, I'm gonna be shitting my pants the entire time. Spent the entire flight on the verge of a panic attack. Yeah. Cause like, okay, so like I've traveled by myself before. Like traveling by myself is no big deal. I'm gonna have a like panic moment beforehand. Cause like I went to Italy for a month by myself. So like I could do it. It's just gonna be very, very anxiety inducing and like I'm gonna be panic stricken. Yup. Yes, that's gonna be us. It's about our knight who turns into a villain because his kingdom betrayed him. Ooh. Interesting. Legos are my ADHD's favorite thing? Yes. Yep. I'll let you test out all sorts of things on me, MJ. Bet. Fucking bet. Oh yeah, travel definitely isn't my problem. Yeah, I can travel. Like, I was telling Shady, I was like, if I don't get a fucking flight, like, I'm supposed to be getting a bonus from work. I was supposed to get it Friday, but for some reason I haven't gotten it yet. So I'm like, okay, maybe it'll come next paycheck, so in 2 weeks. But that's literally all I'm waiting for, is my bonus money to come in to cover my flight, cover my lodging, and any extra shit that I need. That is my spring break money. So it's like very, very anxiety inducing, because I'm like, okay, there are 2 flights left, because my coworker said he could get me tickets with Southwest for $300, which is like half the cost of all the other airlines. So I'm waiting for that money to come in. I'm like, I'm praying to God that I get it soon, so I could buy my ticket and secure my flight, and then send my portion of the lodging, and to catch up on a couple of bills, because I need that. So, Madden! Hi, Madden! Yup! It's gonna be that. It's gonna be yup, and then it's gonna be Mom, I froed up. But we're all gonna aim it at Joy, and it's gonna be Joy, I froed up, or Joy, Madden fro up made me fro up. Hi, Joy. You know that's gonna happen. Madden fro. Okay, but Joy, you're the mom of the group. Like, you are the mom of the group. And then me, Fitz, Madden, Kate, Heroes, Shelly, we're all the children. Lex and Amber are like the cool aunts. And Shady is just like Shady's the dad. Shady's the dad that's just like disappointed in all of us. And you have Jin. Jin is the uncle that just sits in the back laughing at all of us. That's the mod team.
You know what? I like touching myself. Leave me alone.
Kate!
You can touch yourself with a health kit.
Hi, Kate. Hi. I love your face, Kate. I'm about to get in my car and drive to see you because I'm so damn tired of this town right now. MJ, come on. I have a spare bedroom. I got you. Mom, I froed up. Facts, fucking Joy, you know it's true. I'm the mom of my group until there's barf involved, and I'm fucking out. Jin the uncle. Yeah, Jin is the uncle. Jin is the cool uncle that, like, he comes by and is looking at all of us like, the fuck is wrong with y'all? Shady is the redheaded stepchild we all tolerate. Okay, that's more accurate. I'm the token brown. Kate, please. I can't. You were my tax write-off. Joy. Oh my God. Hi, Frith Raiders, welcome in. If this is your first time on the channel, my name's Animagus Arts. I'm a variety streamer. I love Kingdom Hearts. I play random ass Kingdom Hearts challenges. Currently I'm trying to 100% the game while doing speedruns and randomizers and random shit in game. I did blindfolded boss battles yesterday. My community wants me to do Kingdom Hearts on a dance pad. I also love other games like Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy. I love comfy cozy games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, all this lovely shit. Hi, welcome in. I'm glad to have you here. Friend, how was your stream? What were you playing? Oh, Breath of the Wild. What were we doing in Breath of the Wild? Oh, what were we doing? I'm about to like take a trip back to Breath of the Wild. and do master mode. Or I might just say fuck it and do relics. Because I wanted to play it one more time before Tears of the Kingdom came out. How was your stream? How was everything? I hope it was good. I hope it was good. The Traveler's Caravan has arrived. Let's go. Hey, Breath of the Wild. Yes. Yes. How was it? How was stream? How was things? How was life? I heard Relics Glenn. Welcome in. Yeah, I've been wanting to do Relics ever since ever since I met Fish. I've been wanting to do it, but I never figured out how to get the wonderful Sea of Emus to work. And I finally figured it out like a month ago, how to get it to work. So it's like, I'm going to put Breath of the Wild up there, and then I'm going to put Relics up there, and I'm going to do all of the mods and all the things and like all the games. So yeah, I'm eventually, it's going to come up soon. I'm trying to like time it right. Because I want to be able to go like straight from Breath of the Wild into Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm trying to like, there's like what, 100 days left until Tears of the Kingdom comes out. So I'm trying to like think of how to plan it. I'm currently going through a Ocarina of Time randomizer and Wind Waker. So I think after Wind Waker, we're probably just gonna hop right into Breath of the Wild. You got 96 days, boo? Okay, so 96 days. If I play it once a week. If I play it once a week. Let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13-ish streams to beat Relics. Like 13-ish. Well, one of those won't happen because, okay, so like, yeah. Okay. Because Wind Waker, I'm right at Dragon Roost Island. If I can get through, seeing as I've played the game before so I know it, if I could get through Dragon Roost, Deku Tree, like if I could get up to the tower next stream, and then do a dungeon, a stream after that, I should be good. I should be fine. Should be fine. I think that's gonna be the plan. I think I'm gonna do Wind Waker and then straight into Breath of the Wild. We'll be fine. It's okay. It's okay. Let's see. We collected like 53 swag Koroks. I legit upgraded all inventory before we started. We're now into pointless little guys territory. Let's fucking go. 100% go Burr. I wanted 100% the game and then I just gave up. I just read your about me. Also, toilet paper goes under. I love it. I love it. I like, for me, it depends on the urgency of how bad do I need to go to the bathroom. Because if I really need to go, I don't give a fuck. It's just going on there how it goes on there. But if I like have to think about it, it goes, yeah, it goes under. Because if it goes over, I like panicked. And I saw this thing on Facebook where there was a spider on the inside of the toilet paper. And I was just like, no, because if I grab it and there's a fucking spider under the toilet paper roll because I put it over and I can't see, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Oh, T-Rando. Yeah, T-Rando. I'm fucking lost in there. I'm fucking lost in there. I have to go grotto hunting because I need to get, I think last stream I got the ocarina and I got the Song of Time. So I'm able to go between 4 like adult and child timelines. But I don't have anything like I don't have the hook shot. I don't have the boomerang, so I can't get into, or not the boomerang, the slingshot. I don't have the slingshot, so I can't progress into the Deku Tree any further. I've hit a wall there. I don't have the Goron bracelet, so I can't do Dodongo's Cavern. I don't have the hook shot, so I can't get into the Forest Temple. I don't have I don't think I have Zelda's Lullaby, so I can't get into, No, it's not that I don't have Zelda's, I have Zelda's Lullaby, I don't have bombs, so I can't get into Zoro's Domain. I don't have the hook shot, so I can't get into the forest temple. I have the fire tunic, but I don't have the hook shot to get into the fire temple. I don't have the iron boots, so I can't get into the water temple. And I don't have the Zora's tunic to get into the water temple anyways, or anything to shoot down like the thing to get in there. I have the hover boots, but I don't have anything to light all of the torches at the beginning, to get into the Shadow Temple. And I don't have the Lens of Truth, so I can't get into the Spirit Temple. So yeah, I just got Epona, so I can attempt to do the Gerudo's Fortress, but I don't have the hook shot to get me out of the jail. So I'm gonna, like, every time I do it, I'm gonna have to play the ocarina to teleport out. Because I think the only one, I think I have, like, the Nocturne of Shadow. I think that's the only teleport song I have. So I'll have to, like, teleport all the way across the map to the fucking Shadow Temple, and then travel back over to Gerudo's Fortress to do more. So I'm like, do I really want to do that? Because I'm not confident in me getting through it without getting caught once. So that's the only thing that I could do as of right now, and it sucks. Cause like I can't even go. I did fishing as a kid. Can't go fishing as an adult because the lake is drained. So yeah, I am fucked in my rando right now. Let's see, King Town, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Happy time zone. Happy time zone. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm also just chat shit over Link dying. It's a time. Oh yeah. That sounds like what I would do. That sounds like what I would do. See, it's just, I have cats. I have heathen puppies. And the other one, is he back there? Yeah, he's back there. He's like right there. Right there. They're heathens. They're absolute heathens, but I love them. They're my heathens. No, now we have to fix our toilet paper. MJ, drive over here and fix my toilet paper, please. Mean seed. It's a terrible seed. It's a terrible seed. And I'm like, oh, maybe I could do like the treasure chest mini game in the fucking Hyrule Castle town. I'm sorry I called you a heathen. I'm sorry I called you a heathen. But I was like, you know what, maybe I could do like the treasure chest game in Hyrule Castle Town. But I sunk like 100 rupees into that game and I did not make it past like the 4th room. And I'm like, fuck this shit! It's okay because you're gonna do Legos instead. Yes. It's probably there's gonna be an absolutely stupid obscure check somewhere. Yeah, it's gonna be a stupid one. Like, I don't have Saria's song, so I can't get into the mountain because like I could get into Darunia's room, but I don't have Saria's song. So like that's another thing. I can't even get past Mido to get into the Forest Temple because I don't have Saria's song. I don't have the scale, so like I know that there's a check that I need. I think it's a song that's in Lake Hylia. But I don't have the scale to dive down there. So I'm just like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? I'm way too forgetful for randos. See, okay, I made the mistake of I didn't download my spoiler log. So I can't even check to see where things are at. And I need to find the tracker. I need to find the tracker that Smithic uses. Cause like the online one that I found, I lost the page for it. Dak, welcome in. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Happy time zone. I could be there in like 10 hours. Don't tempt me. I'm tempting you, MJ. Honestly, like if I didn't have school tomorrow, I would really be tempting you. It sounds like that wild MMR seed Smithic did when he had to break logic. His key item was hidden in like 3 trades deep in the Deku merchant thread or something dumb. I would cry. I would cry. Like, I have a feeling that I have a feeling the slingshot is in one of the fucking grottos that I can't get to because I don't have bombs. I have bomb shoes, but I ran out of bomb shoes. And I don't know where they sell bomb shoes for me to fucking buy any. Because they don't sell them in Hyrule Castle Town. They don't sell them in Goron City. They don't sell them in the Zora's Domain. Like, I don't know where the fuck to buy them. I don't even know where I could get them. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And like, I don't have anything fire related to even blow up the arrow or blow up the bombs into Dodongo's Cavern. So like, I just, this is the closest I've seen to Smithic throwing a mouse. That was great. His confused face. Yeah, I'm a dumbass that I forgot to download the spoiler log. And I can't. I don't know. Use your bomb-ass butt. What bomb-ass butt? I have no butt. I have bomb-ass titties. I don't have a bomb-ass butt. But yeah, I'm also doing like the OOT MMR in my spare time. And like, I thought I was gonna lose because I was on day 3 when I found the Song of Time for Majora's Mask. And I was like, I need to reset. I didn't even know the Deku Merchants had different trades, to be fair. I didn't either. I didn't. There's a lot of shit that I don't fucking know about those games. Use your bomb-ass titties then. My bomb-ass titties. I'll try to see if that works. We'll report back on Tuesday and I'll let you know. But yeah, so I'm doing like the Ocarina Majora's randomizer in my spare time. And like, I remembered to download the spoiler log for that, so that's helping me out. Right now I need to find the Song of Healing in that one so I can start getting shit. Eventually I'm gonna do that one on stream too, but yeah. Legit though, I saw an animation on Hinox for the first time and like, big game, many secrets. Ooh. Okay, so now that we've like successfully been just chatting and bullshitting for an hour, let me tell y'all what we're doing today. So I got picked for a game demo. We're gonna be doing Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Probably until we beat the demo. I don't think it's gonna take too long. I don't know how long the demo is, but it's very much like Kiki's Delivery Service vibes. You're a little witch and you're delivering packages everywhere around the island. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get into some Devil May Cry after we're done playing the demo. I'm really excited. I saw the game demo. I've seen an ad for the game. I want it. Yeah, we're gonna be playing it. They gave me a Steam key for it. So they gave me a Steam key for the beta demo, and I'm excited. It seems very comfy, very cozy, very cute, and right up my alley. But we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get into Devil May Cry later on today. It's probably gonna be a longer stream today, I'm anticipating. Just depends on how long Mika and the Witch's Mountain takes. But I did want to say, based off of yesterday's stream, I updated my throne. I added the DDR dance pad up there, so eventually Kingdom Hearts DDR is gonna happen. Like, Kingdom Hearts dance pad run is gonna happen eventually. So I put that up there. And then I added a bunch of Lego sets up there because you guys said that like adding Lego sets up there would be a smart idea. So yeah, I did that. So that's all up on Throne. What else did I do? What else did I do? I don't know. Oh, so last night. Okay, so for my Final Fantasy 14 friends, I had a very like fun thing happen last night. So I'm going through New Gridania, right? I'm like traveling because I was just like, I'm gonna get all the Aetherytes, and I'm gonna like attuned to all of them so I could just travel quickly, and like I kind of just want to explore and bullshit in the game, right? So I'm just running, minding my own business, and as I'm like going from one area to the next, I see this little like window pop up on my screen. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? But I was like mid running, so it like popped up and then it went away. And I'm just like, what? So I stopped and then it popped up again, and it was somebody trying to initiate a trade with me. So I was just like, I don't know how any of this works. Like, okay. So I stopped and I was like, what are they gonna do? Like, what are we trading? Why am I getting things? And so they gave me 100,000 gil. 100,000 gil out of nowhere. And then they gave me a red panda as a minion. So I now have a little red panda that runs with me, and like he sits on my hat. He sits on my little hat and he stays there while I fight and while I run. And I was just like, what? We call that these ears and welcome? Like, I was so shocked. I was like, I started crying. I was in my community night. I was in my fucking community night. It was me, A-Lig, Ace, and J Killer. We were just hanging out in there, and I started crying. I was like, tears running down my fucking face because it was so nice. And I was like, I don't have anything to give this person. So I gave them 5 potions. I was like, I got a shit ton of potions. Like, here's 5 potions. I hope this helps you. Like, thank you so much. You were such a sweetheart for helping me. Like, I hope that the person like saw my little thing on Twitter about it and like realizes how grateful I am for that, because like I wasn't expecting that at all. I was just like kind of bullshitting in the game. So random Final Fantasy 14 person, thank you. I really like, that's probably one of the nicest things that anyone's done for me in a game, so I really appreciate it. I do it all the time. Wait till Annie figures out it takes like 5 seconds to make 100k. So I'm new to the game. Like, I'm only level 22. I'm fairly new to the game. I don't know how a lot of things work. Like, one of the things that I wanted to do was buy a house. I found a plot in the lavender beds that I'm hoping stays available for a bit until I can like buy it. Because I like the lavender beds. Just sell all your materia. I don't even know if I have any materia, honestly. I don't know if I have any. Hey Frith, you're still live. Oh my god, is Frith still live? Is Frith still live? Hold on. Oh my god. Still says you're live, Frith. Oh my god, that's fucking funny. Holy shit. Okay. Oh, that's hilarious. Casual 20-hour friend stream, right? Seems like it did finally. Yeah, when I clicked on his page, it was cut off. It was not live anymore, but it said like live. Oh my god, that is funny. I've done that before. I've stayed online for I think 20 minutes past my stream ending and me raiding out. I didn't realize I didn't hit stop streaming because I think I immediately raided out and started chatting with the person I raided into, and I forgot to hit stop streaming, but I was also like on the phone with my mom at the time, and I was like bitching and complaining about something. I forget what I was complaining about, but I was complaining about something. And it was like when I realized, I was like, fuck. Okay, let me just like delete that VOD or unpublish it because it had personal information that I started talking about, and we don't need that out there on the internet. So I've only done that like once. So yeah. I've never done a casual 20-hour stream though. I've heard of people do that though. How about we get into some Mika? How are we feeling about that? Because I'm like really excited. I'm really excited about that game. Panic at the Disco, I have to pause you. Casual 20 hours, I would die. Alright, so I'm gonna boot up the game. Just so you all know, for like the intro part, I'm not gonna be able to see chat because I opened it up to see if I could like format it down to well, you know what, actually I'll have chat up over here. I'll do that. I'll have my chat up over on this screen. And yeah, because it's like there's no resize option for the game when I like go in. There's no options part. It just says like click A to start the game or some shit like that. So yeah, I'm gonna try to move this over to here. Okay. Okay. Ooh, that is loud. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So as you can see, there's no like options. And it is loud as shit in my ear. Okay. I'm excited for this. This is my first like game demo that I've been chosen for. Oh, she looks like the fucking witch from Howl's Moving Castle. Like the swamp witch. Don't let me know what this game is like, but I gotta go. Let's use all. Yes, Brit, go do post-stream care stuff. You gotta do. Like definitely do that. Dragon Master, thank you so 13 months. Thank you, thank you. Holy shit, you're so sweet. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Gotta go get dinner and stuff. Yes, go get dinner. Go get dinner. All right, let me see. Press the Y button to jump. Okay, will it let me pause? Oh, okay. Alright, so I don't know where the options menu is. I'm gonna need to figure that out. Hey, you. You look like the fucking witch from Howl's Moving Castle. Oligari? Okay. Good night, Mika. Do you bring all the supplies? Yes, Miss Oligari. Here I have my family broom, the grimoire, and the tempera paints and the mint crystals. And what about the skulls? Yeah, the skulls. Yes, I have them too. And the chocolate and the blackthorn and the coconut candles. Yes, I see. You've got it all, little one. So, miss, where do I settle? Will I have a room up there? Mom said from Mount Gon's top you can see shooting stars. Shooting stars, galaxy dust. Your mother should have not filled your mind with such childish longings. Oh, I just want to see stars. Shall be a challenge, but I will turn you into a full-fledged witch. However, little one, many other girls have jumped off the cliff with their brooms and they never came back. It won't happen to me! I've been practicing a lot, Miss Oligari. Oh yes? Let's see. First lesson. Come back up here by yourself. Oh? Oh, this is super cute. Whoa! She just went yeah yeet off the cliff. We got adorable. Have a good stream. Enjoy. Yes, Fred. Yes, I will enjoy. I will. I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm doing really, really good, Dragon Destroyer. I'm really excited for this game demo. I can't wait to play it. I saw this on Twitter and I was like, I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna see what happens. The worst they're gonna tell me is no. So yeah. Getting Ni no Kuni vibes. Yeah, it is very Ni no Kuni. Oh no, the family broom. It has become splinters. I hope it can be repaired. There's a village there. I'll ask if anyone can help me. Okay, do I finally have... There has to be a way to, like, resize the screen. I'm tired of, like, looking over at my chat over here. Bunny! Hi, Bunny. Hi. Okay. Ooh, can I go in the water? Is that a thing? Or is it gonna, like, tell me I can't? Okay. I cannot go swimming. Swimming is not a thing I could do in this game. Ooh. Okay. How's the, game audio? Is game audio good? Do I need to, like, raise it or lower it? It was, like, super loud in my ear, so I had to lower it some, but I want to make sure it sounds good to y'all. Ooh. What's this? My cauldron backpack! What? It's empty? All of my apprentice supplies. They scattered when I fell down. I'll have to look for them all over the island. I cannot become a real witch without them. Seems okay to me? Okay, perfect. Perfect. Ask for help to repair your broom. Okay. Hi, little one. Where did you come from? Me, from the top of Mount Gone. Miss Witch Oligari pushed me down. That's quite a fall, poor thing. But where are my manners? I'm Allegra, the village ceramic artisan. Nice to meet you. I'm Mika, witch apprentice. Well, forgive me if I'm nosy, but why do you want to be a witch? Easy. Witches are simply extraordinary. They have magical powers and they can fly. I think you won't fly very far with a broken broom. Yes, you are right. Could you repair it? I messed it up. Certainly. I can make some fixes here and there. It would not fly the same as before, though. Now wait a minute, little one. Ahav's broom! Aha! Your repaired broom. Thank you very much, Allegra. Well, I should go now. I have to get back to the top of the mountain. Wait, you mean by flying around on this wobbly, tiny, barely repaired broom? Ha! You're hilarious. If I said a joke, I don't get it. See, to go there, you'll need to purchase a new broom. A powerful one, I'd say. However, do you have money? You'll have to find work if not. Work? But I'm a witch. An apprentice, you said, and in trouble. Is it so obvious? Yeah, but don't worry, little one. Let's say, if you give me 3 coins, I'll make you a new broom, a better and shiny one. Fine, I'll work. What a bore. I think I heard the delivery company is open for applications once again. And since you have the marvelous gift of flying, you'd be the ideal delivery person. Actually, you may be onto something. Alright, I'll work to buy a better broom, and then I'll be able to reach the top of Mount God. That's the spirit, little one. Okay, so I have to go find the delivery service? Press X to pull out the broom and fly. Press X again to stop flying. Okay. Press RT to do... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I love this. Hi. How lovely, still as the sea, don't you think? Okay. I'm a bitch apprentice? Oh no. MJ, please. Oh, wait, what is this? Oh. Oh. Okay. I don't know what they need for that. Okay, I need to go find the delivery service. I need to find a delivery service. Hi, who are you? A new face in town. Hi. Okay, I can't go in there. I can't go in there. Oh. Yeah, pet the cat. I want to pet the cat. Oh, dog! Doggo. Hi, doggo. Oh my god. This is so cute. Oh my god, it's following me! Hi! Hi, little buddy. Are you gonna show me the way? This is so cute. Oh, I love this. Oh, please don't stand on the tracks. Dog, please get off of the tracks. Get off. Stop it! Get off of the tracks. You're gonna get hit by a train. Okay, so that's a train station. I needed to save the doggo. I needed to save him. Okay, where the fuck is the delivery service at? Can I talk to you? Can you tell me? Can you tell me where? It seems like a lot of people are waiting for deliveries, so... I wonder if they're gonna add a thing where you can, go into buildings. Hey, there are my plastic skulls! I gotta call the nephews, I shall return. Alright, MJ. No worries, we'll be here. We'll be here. They are fake, yet totally disgusting. I don't know why Miss Oligari wants them. Oh, but they're cute. I like those. Delivery service! Hi. Are you here for the work application? Yes, I'm your new delivery person. Oh, what enthusiasm. How sweet. Fine, let me tell you, I'll tell you about your work. You have absolute freedom to organize your agenda of deliveries. You choose your time. No pressure. Word of Gref, your boss from now on. Oh, sounds nice, boss. I'm Mika, by the way. So, let's start, shall we? Here's your first delivery. Oh, before that, I would like to know about the payment. Are you seriously asking about the salary? How dare you? Is that all that matters to you? Yes. I literally would not work if I didn't have to pay any bills. And what about the privilege of flying over this beautiful island where some nice people live, huh? Most of them, at least. That's terrific, boss, but I need to know how much I will do per delivery. Since you insist. Thank you, boss. Here, take a delivery card. It'll allow you to check progress and delivery information. After delivery, your service will be rated there according to 3 color-faced stamps. Oh, well, that seems simple. If the delivery is perfect, you will get a green face stamp so you will then earn a coin. If the delivery is mediocre, you'll get a yellow face stamp and just earn nothing. If something goes wrong, you'll get a red face stamp. If so, we'll have a very serious talk, young lady. Well, okay, only green face stamps to get paid. Glad to know you got it all. Yes, here's the package for the old man sailor Oval. Heard it, boss! I must fly! Alright, so push A to pick up the package. To leave it, press the B button. Alright, so Old Man Oval was over here. I could just run. I should fly, but, like, I could just run. I want to get my new broom before I fly. Mr. Oval, sir, I have a package for you. Hi there, girl. Are you the new delivery person? Yes, it's my first day. In fact, you are my first customer. Oh, that's lovely. I feel honored. I'll give you the highest rating then. Maybe you should check the package before rating my service. Ah, never mind. I'm sure it's fine. Oh, nice. Thank you very much, mister. Oh, that's cute. Since you are here, I'd like to ask you for a delivery. I need you to take this to my grandson. He went fishing this morning and didn't take his lunch. Wow, so cool. I'll have to fly over the sea. Yes, but take care it does not get wet. Okay, so I'll have to fly. Okay, I need to, like... It's gonna get wet, it's gonna get wet, it's gonna get wet! My new broom, it kinda sucks. Okay, so, like, it's kind of janky in the... Oh, he's over there. Oh! How do I... I'm sorry, sir. Can I get a redo? Can I get a redo? I'm sorry. Okay, I don't like the controls. Can I do, like, a sensitivity check or something? Can I get a new lunch? Can I get a new lunch? Can I try over? Can I start again? Please. Okay, so... Woo! Okay. I'm sorry I got lunch. I got your lunch wet. Hey, you fall from the sky. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I have a delivery from your grandfather. Thank you very much for bringing it here. It's not easy to fly over the sea. I hope it did not get wet. Don't worry, it's alright. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Oh, my old man Oval. He always thinks of me. We used to go sailing together, but at his age, it's no longer easy for him. So do you feel alone now, right? Sometimes a bit, yes, but it's not as terrible as it may appear. Actually, it's nice being in the sea. Everything's calm and quiet. Dude, facts. I love... Okay, so, like, has anyone... Do I have anyone in here that actually likes being out on the water? Like the ocean? Or, like, sailing? Because I learned how to sail a small sailboat in college. I would have to take, like, a refresher course, but, like, it was so much fun sailing. And I've always wanted to buy a sailboat myself, like a tiny one. And just go on, like, the river. Because I think that would be so cool. But it really is calm and quiet out there. Alright, sorry then, I should keep moving. I didn't mean that. I enjoy your company too. It's just, I'll be fine on my own once you're gone. Anyways, do you want to fish with me? I'm not sure about that. I feel bad for the little fish. But don't worry, we use fish bowls for that, so nothing will hurt them. What do you say? Would you deliver a fish to my grandfather? He'll be very happy. Absolutely, leave it to me. Delivering is my work. One last thing, Mika. Can I ask you if you like what you do? I've never thought about that. I can't tell yet. Okay. So I have to catch a fish. Oh, fish! Hey, your grandson wanted to give you a fish. Here you go. Oh, my dear new friend is here. What have you brought this time? It's a fish for you. Ah, Opik sent you, did he? My boy. My boy! Yes, but don't eat it. Eat it, you said? Nonsense. I will put it in the aquarium with the other fellows. Phew, good to know. You see, I released the fish my grandson brings me into the big aquarium in the dining room. It may seem silly, but this way I can feel that my boy is here with me while he is out there. Sorry, I'm spoiling your time. You deserve the highest rating again. No, don't worry, you didn't. Anyway, thank you, Oval. Aww. Whoa, I've just completed the delivery card. I'll meet Gref to collect my earnings. Let's fucking go. Okay. No! Here we go. Hey, you! Hey! I did it! I did the thing! Hey, I've completed the delivery card, boss! Really? Already? Let me see. Oh, 3 green face stamps. That's impressive, girl. Well, people were so nice to me. Alright, so take what you earned. 1, 2, and 3 coins. Great! Now I could buy a better broom from Allegra. Well, boss, I think I've done enough here. Huh? You cannot quit. You have work to do. Sure, but Nah, no more stories. Here, your new delivery card. Now, go fly. Hello, Mika. Glad to see you again, little one. Hello, I have some money. I hope it's enough to buy a new broom. Oh, you've worked hard. Well done. Ah, here you go. A gleaming, brand new, basic broom. Allegra, do you think that it would help me reach the top of the mountain? Reaching the top of the mountain with this broom? No, it cannot go that high. But it's a good broom to learn how to fly. What? But to become a witch, I have to go back to Mount Gaunt. Don't worry, Mika. Everything in its own time. Besides, the basic broom is really nice. It allows you to glide the sky from the highs. If you say so, I'll give it a try. Come back later with 8 coins and I'll build you an even better one. See you soon, Allegra, I promise! Hey, I got a new broom. Okay. Oh, this is... So is this... I want to know, like, okay. So it's really, like... The controls are a little weird. I definitely think they need to add, like, a sensitivity to it. Oh, it's so cute. This is very much Studio Ghibli vibes. And I love this. I love this so much. Oh, I can't wait for the full game. Meow. I get to hang with the cat? Oh my god. This is gonna be so cute. Who are you? I'm just so excited for this. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love that. Okay, so that was Mika and the Witch's Broom. This is cute. This is cute. This is cute. I love this. I love that. Oh my god. Like, my only complaint is that, like, the controls are a little weird. I think it's definitely gonna have to take some getting used to. Like, the going up and down. That's definitely gonna take some time getting used to. But, like, the game is so cute. Oh my god. It's adorable. Alright. So now we're gonna switch over to Devil May Cry for our usual Sunday shenanigans. Okay. So Devil May Cry. Now I can see my full chat again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can close that out. Pop that up. I'm just getting everything switched over, so bear with me. Devil May Cry. Hello? Game? Oh, okay, so I have to resize this. Boop, and then I could probably turn this back up. And then turn game audio up some. Ooh, that's a little loud. Okay, that should be fine. Devil May Cry.
HD collection.
Yes, I want to continue. I forgot what the fuck I did last time. We're gonna pop back up game. Game, please. Why isn't it? Hello? Game!
Let's rock, baby.
We're gonna have to do that. I guess that'll work. Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's fucking go. What do I gotta do? Parted memento. Slash away at the dragon and enter the court with the quicksilver. The fuck do I gotta do? Hold on. What is that? Oh, okay. I know what I need to do. Well, I don't know what I need to do, but like, I remember. Okay. You sound like me anytime anyone tells me to do anything. I don't know what I need to do, but I know what I need to do. Okay, so I guess I gotta go through here. What is this? Why do I feel like I'm gonna have to fight something? Why do I feel like I'm gonna have to fight something? Because I'm gonna have to. Whoa, game change? Yeah. We finished the demo, so now... We hopped on over to our normal Sunday shenanigans. Woo! Rude ass bitch! Come on. Woo-hoo-hoo! Ooh. Ah! Stop. Wait a minute, wrong button. I died. I died. It's okay. It's okay. Were you able to figure things out? Yeah, I was. I wound up looking it up. Because honestly, like when you had said, "Are you sure that's what you needed to do?" that put doubt in my head. And honestly, like I want to ask, please don't do that. Like I really want to figure things out on my own. So when you were like, "Are you sure that's what you need to do?" that really put doubt in my head about what I was doing, and I got frustrated and looked it up. So like if I wind up like spending hours on something, doing it my way, like that's okay. When I say like I don't want anything at all, like I really don't want any mention of the game. Alright, so I'm gonna try Ifrit. Cause these motherfuckers are putting out ice. So, you know, ice and fire. Blah! Blah! Ifrit. Wait. Ifrit. Woo! No. I just need to get them, like... I need to... Stop it. No, no. Oh, okay, that's one. That's one down. Ifrit was the move. Ah! Okay, Ifrit was the move. Yes! Try not to be defeated by this puzzle. I'm pretty sure it's winning right now. No. You can't let it beat you, MJ. You can't let it beat you. Ah! He scared me. I got fire too, motherfucker. And it's gonna kill me. It's gonna fucking kill me. Ah! Ah! What the fuck? No! Okay, that's a door. That's a door. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Oh god, there's a lot of you. Oh, thanks for health. Thanks for health. Woo! No. I don't care, I'm doing this. I need the health regen. I didn't know he ran. He was coming to touch the button. I didn't want it. Okay, I mean we're good. We have good health now. We regened a little bit, which is nice. What is this? What's in here? Oh, I don't. Ah! No, I'm not going in there. Nope. That was terrifying. That was fucking terrifying. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. The door won't open. There's a round hole in the side. Fuck! I have to go. No, I have to go back that way. Ah! Don't get up. Stay down. Alright. Alright, 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 alright. What? Strange powers confronted me. I've got to find a way to defeat the dragon. Okay. 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 I mean, get hit with grenades? Okay, so I really cannot, like, I'm gonna have to... Maybe not this, maybe not this, maybe lasers? Okay. Can I get up here? Go ahead. Shoot me again. Oh my god, camera. Camera. Okay, that's something. Oh my god! I hate the cameras in this. I hate it. I hate it. They're god awful. Okay. Okay. What's this? What is this? Is this like a little safety net? Ah! It hit me. Ooh. There you go, Sushi. There you fucking go. Okay, can I not? Okay, so I cannot jump up there. That doesn't help! Oh, I can stand here. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. We're gonna have that. Because that seems like the only thing that's hits him without bouncing back. Also sorry I dipped. I had to do event stuff, so I was way behind on reveals and big time. Oh no, you're good, Sushi. You're good. Do what you gotta do. What if I... Alistorm? So we're getting 5th stream now. I'm here, so don't look for one to say, hey, Squirrel! Hi, Squirrel! I hope life has been treating you good. I love your face. I love your face. Ooh, okay, so I can't jump up there. I'm gonna figure this out, because I can only go but oh so far. Okay, I can stand right here. It's gotta do... Ah, that's not what I wanted. It's fucking camera, man. I'm stoked, but I don't know, it's not prepped for the unforeseen getting sick / burnt out. Like, no one can ever prepare for that, though. Like, there is no possible way to prepare for that. Okay. Ah, I was not supposed to be able to get hit there. I feel like it has to hit this somehow, some way. Let me see, let me see, let me see. Oh! I'm just getting fucking lasered by this guy. Slowly catching up with One Piece? Let's fucking go. I wonder... Okay, so there's no... It's not like a labyrinth type thing. Episode 31 or 32? Ooh, 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 ooh. Power of the Dragon has complete control over it now. It can't be moved. Oh, okay, here we go. There's something written. The confronter of the path, Pluto's dragon. Prove your bravery with your sword, and the dragon will fall in its own flame. Oh, do I have to hit this back? fucking go. All those years of playing Ocarina of Time, tennis with Phantom Ganon. Yeah. Fucking did it. Okay. What is this? Phantom Ganon can suck my dick. Okay. So now we get to go up here. Shit. No! You're supposed to like Dante? We're not gonna have any thunder? Okay. Thunder! Feel the thunder! Shit! Lightning and the thunder. Oh god, fuck these camera angles, man! It's fine. It's a device to gather moonlight. I fucking did this for nothing? Well, I mean, not for nothing, but... Oh, the little lever thing. Oh, the little lever thing that was over here. Oh! There we go. They did the thing. They did the thing. Dig swear I could go for a floppy Joe? No. No. No, ma'am. Whoever decided that the camera should flip right as you're jumping, eat my ass. Whee! Okay. So got that. So now we gotta go put the ball in the door. Woo! There's gonna be a motherfucker right here. So the game mechanics for DMC1 was supposed to be for RE4. Yeah, because this was supposed to be RE4 and not its own game series. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Oh, this isn't ominous at all. Oh, hi! Hi again. It's me.
A man with guts and honor. I like that. But it's a shame you serve Mundus.
Mundus. We about to fist fight or something? Oh, hi! Oh, okay, so you can still be stunned, like, in... Woo! Oh, you hit hard. You hit hard. You hit hard! Ah! What the fuck? What is up here? Okay. Okay, so there's nothing. Oh, you can't taunt me. Ooh, I got this. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Whoop! Fuck it. We're running it back. We're running it back. I don't want to fuck it up again. We taunted at the same time. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you asshole. Jeez, call me a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Ah! Okay. I don't think... I think these are what I'm gonna need. No, I'm sad that there's no health in here. Oh, he's gonna kill me. 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 I'm gonna have to start this over. Fuck! No! Ah. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Can I power up anything? You know what? This will probably help me. That'll probably help me a lot. Okay. Speedrun time! Woo! Did I not go in here before? Oh shit, I didn't. I just kept running. I didn't even know that was there. want to fight these fuckers. Y'all want to jump too? I could jump. Woo! Please no, please no, please no. Please no. There we go. I think that's just gonna be my strategy. I'm just gonna jump and kick. Jump and kick. It's gonna be a solid strategy. It's where I'm gonna do the thing. Oh, that's right. That fucker is there. No. It's the best strategy in my opinion. Yes. Just jump and kick. Fuck your fire bullshit. Jump and kick, jump and kick. We jump and we kick. At least I know what the fuck to do for when I hit the dragon part. Ah! No. Ow. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your shit. Look! Thank you so much for the lurk. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy the bath. Dude, a bath sounds nice, honestly. Woo! Jump and kick! Jump and kick! Health. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. Alright, so now we're gonna go fuck with the dragon bitch, and... yes. Come on! Hit me again, tube sock! Gosh, it really does. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Honestly, I might do that when I have to wash my hair tonight. Same though, yeah. Bath sounds fantastic. Oh, right. So now we get to do the platforms again. Fuck! The true boss platforming. Oh my god, Dante. Alright, I need to stop trying to do this so fast. Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go. Fucking shit, man. Alright, got this. Bruh, his knees must be hurting. All of these jumps that he's got to do, they can't be good on your knees. Rude. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Yeah, let's go. Quicksilver! Just a heads up, guys, in about a minute, an ad is gonna run here. So just so y'all know. Sorry I'm late. No, you're good. You're good, Cosmic. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Don't apologize ever for being late. I'm just glad you're here. Okay. You are going to eat my ass and you are going to like it. Plan a trip to Kentucky, then from Kentucky to Tennessee, then back home. Ooh. Ooh, that's a long trip. That is a fucking long trip, but I'm glad you're here. Your ass is mine this time. Your ass is mine. Please don't be a phase 2. Please don't be a phase 2. Please, please don't be a phase 2. Please tell me that's you dying. Thank fuck. Thank fuck. It's about 7 hours to Kentucky, 4 hours from Kentucky to Nashville, then Nashville back to Paragould. It's another 4 hours. Whew. This is a long ass trip. That is a long ass trip. But how are you, Cosmic? How are you doing? Good, going back to night shift soon. Thank fucking God. Hello? Fucking, excuse me? Excuse me? Whoa! Save! Okay, next mission. Spirit Stone Elixir. Throw the Philosopher's Egg into the fire and transform it into a Spirit Stone. Can I do anything? We could do that. We could do that. Hello? Hello? Cosmic!
Ooh, what's that?
Ooh, what's that? Cosmic, I fucking love you. Thank you so much for the 11 months. Thanks. You used your Prime. You only get one of those, and you used it on me. You used it on me. You were freaking sweetie. I love you, Cosmic. Okay. I think I should be good. Okay. Perfect amulet. The combined form of Dante's pendant and the Dark Knight's pendant, it allows entry into the underworld. Oh! I'm sorry, what? I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm gonna fuck with this. Look at me right now. Like a little kid in a fucking candy store. Holy shit. Okay. Mama's got a new toy. Fucking facts. Oh, get it. Get in the portal. There we go. You got me as fucked to have gotten that. You goddamn right I am. Oh, no. No. Not this again. Not this. I forgot how to do the underwater. Oh. I don't have to shoot anything, do I? What the fuck was that? Is this just nothingness? Why do I feel like something's going to chase me through here? Ooh. I feel like something's gonna be chasing me and I'm gonna have to like navigate through here really, really fast. This ain't a chase hallway if I've ever fucking seen one. Ah! Oh, no, 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 not these bitches, not these bitches again. Oh god, you're right there! You're right there! Oh shit, oh fuck, fuck, fuck. Headshot! No, fuck out of here. Get out of here. Okay. Okay. What is this? What is this? No. No. Why? Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? Oh, wait a second. Super! Hi, Super. Welcome in. How are you? Oh, that's the thing, because I gotta go super fast. Okay. You son of a bitch. Oh, okay, I can't jump that far. No. Doing alright, what about you? I'm doing good. I am having a fucking blast hanging out with everyone today. Playing my new favorite game series. We did a game demo earlier today for a really super cute, like Studio Ghibli, Ni no Kuni type game. It was like super cute. Okay. Trying to see, where do I go? Oh, right here. Oh, I'm assuming it's that fire. Oh, wait! This is where the lion thing was at. I will say if you like these games, I do think you'd have a great time with Bayonetta and Blood Rain. So Bayonetta's gonna be next. No. No! Not this motherfucker again! Okay, we're gonna cheese him. Bayonetta is gonna be next. After we get through Devil May Cry, it's gonna be Bayonetta. I haven't decided yet if I want to do, like, one Devil May Cry game, then one Bayonetta game, then one Devil May Cry, and flip-flop back and forth like that. Or if I want to do all of the Devil May Cry games and then go all through Bayonetta. Blood Rain is one that I don't know much about. Can you put that in I made a channel, reminders channel. Can you put that in my reminders channel to check out Blood Rain? Because I'm gonna forget. Super with the chat roulette. I really, like, I hope I set that up right. I really hope I did. Something engraved, those who seek the truth shall put the egg in the basket and shall warm it slowly with care. It will become a blue stone and the landmark to the rough roads. Yes. This bitch is back! No. Gimme. Oh shit. Stop it. We're gonna cheese him. Give orb. Stop that. Stop it. What? No! He has a new power! Shit! It's hard for me to answer, honestly, because for the sake of continuity, I would just say go through all the DMC games, even the one that Ninja Theory made, but that might lead to burnout. Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about, is I don't want to get burnt out on the Devil May Cry games. So I'm like, do I just go ahead and flip-flop back and forth like that? Fucking stop! I need to hit it again. No, 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 no. No, fuck your shit! Why don't I have my devil trigger? Wait, 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 wait. Pizza. No, 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 no. I'm gonna die. 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 How's the stream going? It's going good. It's going really good. I had a lot of fun earlier with a demo of Mika and the Witch's Mountain. It was very like Ni no Kuni style, Studio Ghibli, like super cute, comfy game. It's by an indie company. I put it out on my Twitter actually. Let me see. It's Chibi-G Studio. Chibi-G Studio. They've made another game. But it was super cute. We played that for the first, like, well, we chatted for an hour and then we played like 30 minutes of the demo. And now we're here playing Devil May Cry. And Devil May Cry is kicking my ass today. Like, it's just not happening. So, yeah. Okay. This is fine. Just gonna go ahead and do that. And hit this again. Gotta keep this on. Oh no 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 no, he's gonna swallow me up, he's gonna swallow me up, he's gonna swallow me up. No no no. Get off of me! God, I haven't been able to do shit this round. Fucking hell, man. Oh my god, Dante. Fucking shit, man. Okay, I'm getting closer with every you know, every try, but I'm gonna have to redo this fucking chapter again if I don't fucking get this right. This is fine. Okay. I'm gonna focus mode. I'm sad I don't know where, like, my devil trigger thing is at. Ooh. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Here we go, 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 here we go. Show me the orb. Fucking shit. Nope. No. Oh my god, come on, come on. No! 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 Ah! Okay. Strange voice from the transformed stone is echoing inside my head. I am the first key to opening the gate of the underworld. I'm gonna go shower before I throw hands on this puzzle. Go shower, MJ. Go shower. Go shower. I love your face. Get out of my head! I love your face, MJ. Go enjoy your shower. The second key resides in the mirror dimension. Ooh, elixir. I have a joke about procrastination, but I'll tell it to you later. I see you, fighters. I see you. Oh, okay. That's just a portal. Ooh. Achievement unlocked. Good night. Bye. Welcome in. How are you? Good evening. Is this the first one? Yes, this is the first one. I have never played a Devil May Cry game in my life. I've never played a Devil May Cry game in my life. This is my first, like, intro to the series. I am loving this so much. So much. I'm still here, but I need to check back through the VOD for something. Okay. Okay. Let me know if everything's okay. Let me know. Fighters! Fighters, thank you for the 31 biddies!
I finally watched that documentary on clocks. It was about time.
Fighters, I fucking love your face. I adore you. I'm okay. How you getting on? I'm getting on good. I'm getting on really good. It's been a really, really good game. Have you played similar games? No. Well, that depends. What do you consider a similar game? I don't think I've played a similar game. Like, I guess maybe the closest one that I could think of would be, like, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Very much on that. I mean, with, like, the puzzles. Oh! With, like, the puzzles. I mean, I'm really big into, like, Final Fantasy, and Legend of Zelda. So like I'm very familiar with like the puzzle type games where you have to figure things out and like get A to open B to get to point C. So I played like those types of games. I can tolerate algebra, maybe even a little calculus, but geometry is where I draw the line. Fighters, I fucking love you. I fucking love you. I got stuck on my first game. Once you get used to it, they get easier. Yeah, I'm noticing. Fuck your shit, man. Give me orbs. I'm noticing that like it really is getting easier like the more I get on with the game. And I fucking love it. Like I love it so much. The wedding was so beautiful. Even the cake was in tears. Ooh, the elixir is responding strongly to the other painting. Let's fucking go. Let's go. I don't trust that. The mirror is responding to the elixir and its reflection is growing eerier. Okay. The door vanished due to the evil powers. Scary. Oh. 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 How many blue orb fragments? Oh, I need one more. Fucking bet. What's up here? Oh, shit. Untouchable? Untouchable. Untouchable. A shield will surround the body, protecting you from any attack for a certain period. You will also be in a devil trigger state during this period. Oh, fucking bet. Ooh. What can I do here? I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna need that. Gonna need that. Okay. This is really... Okay. Oh! Ooh, can I still use this? Here, the statue, the Watcher of Time is just an illusion. Orbs have no use. Oh. Okay. So this is like the upside down. Oh, I don't like the camera angles. Philosopher's Stone? Are we at fucking Hogwarts? It is the key to unlocking the gate of the underworld. No, I don't like that! Okay, we have that. What do I have as my gun? Wait, what do I have as my gun? I have handguns. Okay. Oh, no. Nope. Oh, God, I hate you. Oh, I hate you all. What the fuck? Big stone. Big red stone. Big red stone. Oh, you're gonna fucking, like... Don't like that. This game takes me back a few years. I've been getting into like the old games that I never got to play when I was younger. Like I never played Devil May Cry. You playing on normal difficulty? Yes. Yes. I always start out a game playing on normal. Like I always give it a shot on normal before I do anything else. Is up here? Those demons are the worst. They fucking look terrible. They look god awful. Okay, so there's nothing that way. Have you played Oogie's Revenge? It's like the sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes! I have played Oogie's Revenge, actually. I actually have. Fuck, I want that blue orb. But I don't know how to get it. Japan's normal is hard. They put these on PlayStation recently. Yeah! I noticed they put them on PlayStation after I had bought the whole collection on Steam. Well, not the whole collection. I don't have 5. 5 is the only one I don't have. But I do have 1 through 4, and I'm planning on playing 1 through 4. Okay, do I go... I guess I go back here? No. I got this. I'm gonna figure it out. Don't tell me I'm gonna have to fight those fucks again. What the fuck do I do here? Ah, there's 3 of you. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die because of my dumb ass didn't explore everywhere. Yep. I knew I was gonna die in here. Okay, at least I know that they're not, like, terribly hard. And at least, like, this is a new chapter, so it's not very hard in the new chapter. Do I still... Okay, I don't have one of these anymore. Okay. Okay. I think it's a great game. Oh, I love this. I love this game so much. Like, if anyone, like, asks me, what do I think of these? Like, I'm gonna tell them to fucking play it if they haven't played it. Because, like, one, I have had so many moments where I'm, like, for one, I am, like, not flying through this game. Like, there are parts where I struggle, and I love games that I struggle. Like, I like to figure things out. I like to struggle. I like the challenge. I like difficult games. So this just, like, makes me really fucking happy. And I will tell everyone I know to play this game if you haven't played it yet. Let's see. Let me catch up. I'm a little behind. Okay, I'm back. I was checking for something. What were you checking for, Cosmic? I'm curious. I'm curious. You could DM me on Discord. It's probably better on the PC, to be honest. PlayStation graphics don't do it justice. I mean, it's not bad on PC. I'm trying to cheese my way through DMC5. I have my save file on my PS4. On the PS5, it's all brand new. And I'm like, nope, Mama needs her stuff. Yeah. Movement will take some time getting used to. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty far into the game. I'm pretty far in. I think there's like 26 chapters and I'm on chapter 18 or something like that. It's still a little janky, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I definitely do, enjoy it, even though it's a little janky. There really isn't a lot difference between consoles and PC for this. Really? That's interesting. They're both 60 FPS. Oh. I loaded on my PS4 and it didn't look good. I wonder how it looks because I just got a PS5, so I wonder how it looks up there. They don't look good regardless. I have this series for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PS4. They didn't do a lot for this port, just upscaled it and gave it 60 FPS. I mean, that's good enough for me. Okay, I need to run around and check all the corners out first. I hate this janky ass camera though. Oh wait, I wonder if I need to take it back. You already know what I was checking for? I had a feeling. I just like wanted to double check. Oh, I came in ready today. I fucking love you, Cosmic. Ooh, that's an eyeball. Oh, then stop kicking me. Okay, so that wasn't nearly as bad second time around. That wasn't nearly as bad. Okay, so that has to be the door I just came out of. I think I know what I need to do. Maybe? Yeah, that's this door. So there's nothing else to do in here. I'm not going back out there to fight. I think I have to go back out here. Yeah, I think I need to go back out here. Let me see. They give you the special edition for DMC3. I got the... Hold on, let me pull up Steam. So I know exactly what I'm telling you guys. I got the Devil May Cry HD edition. So that includes, let's see. Yep, Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. So it goes Devil May Cry 2, and Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. So yeah, I got it. It comes with the HD collection. Yes. Woo! Extra game on it. There's... Yeah, somebody was telling me that last week. Somebody was telling me that it comes with, 2 characters. Oh. Of course I do. This is fine. At least I'll get health from this. Go ahead. Beautiful. When you complete main game, you get the other character. You do his part of the story. Interesting. Interesting. I can't wait to get to it. I've heard good things, like Devil May Cry 1 and 3 are like the better ones. It's starting to actually... No! No! I don't want to fight him again! I better not have to fight this bitch again. Evil darkness is whirling with its mouth open. This must be the gate of the underworld. Exciting. Shall I use the philosopher's stone? Yeah, I agree. 4 was okay. I've not played 5 yet. Yeah, I've heard that, like, 1 and 3 were the best ones. 2 is kind of meh. And then 4 is pretty good, and I haven't heard anything about 5 yet. I'm trying to stay, like, as blind as possible, because, like, I know nothing about any of these games. Like, I don't know the story. I only know that, like, the main character is Dante. That's it. I can attest that right now 5 is fucking awesome. That's all I'm saying. Wasn't as much in it as others. That's all. It's still worth playing. Yeah, everyone's been telling me to, like, play through the entire series. Showdown with Nightmare. No, I don't want to fight Nightmare again. He's the worst. I'm just gonna do that. He's literally the worst. Can I throw holy? Fuck it, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Because why not? I don't want to fight Nightmare again. Nightmare. Ooh. I don't like this. Nope, don't like this. Nope. Ooh, nope, Ifrit. This just makes me think like I'm in a demon's vagina right now. That's what this gives me. Demon vagina vibes. I'm gonna fucking die here. Well. He came ready to fucking fight. Like, he's already squared up. Rude as fuck. No. I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna use this. We're using it. We're using it. Probably a bad idea to use that now, but get fucking wrecked, nerd. Oh god, no. Ow! Just fucking die already, please. Can I buy another one? Nope, I do not have enough to buy another one. Shit. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
Dante, help me.
I don't trust you. He died.
Trish, stay back.
Well, she's on the other side of the fucking barrier, so Shit. Shit. Ah! Stop it! I'm gonna fucking die. Yep. Yep. Stop fucking. I did. I'm dead. I died. I said I've been waiting for this. Let's fucking go, Cosmic. Let's fucking go. Okay. Okay, so I have one of those. We're gonna go with that. So the restriction on custom entrance is and I can't have someone having an anal orgasm as a sound command. Got it. Yeah, no, of course, nothing like that, but, just send me, like, a YouTube link, 15 to 20 seconds, max, because DMCA and shit like that. I'm just gonna fucking run, because I don't want to fight these guys. No porn core, got it. Yep, no porn core. But other than that, like, it could be a song, it can be something from, like, a movie. I don't give a shit. Like, Amber and Madden have shit from Billy Madison. Oh my god, stop it. Ha! You tried, bitch. Nope, you stay the fuck right up here. Oh my god, jump up there, Dante! Woo! Come on. Show me what I want to see. Come on. Hello? Trish! You fucking bitch!
So easy.
You bitch!
Trish, you?
What the fuck?
Humans. What sweets. You should know better than to trust a stranger. Your presence has become a hindrance to my master's bloody scheme. Now die!
What? I have to fight her? I just... Okay. Give me what I need. Give me what I need. Give me... No! God, I used it too early. Okay. Does a clip have to be long, or do I have to share time? You can just share a timestamp. Yep, you can share a timestamp from, like, this point to this point. I used to be able to play piano by ear, but now I have to use my hands. Fighters, please. Please. Wait, what do I have? What? Oh, shit, I didn't check to see what I had. Nothing. I'll look for something on YouTube a little later. Okay, no worries. I have nothing. Oh my god, fucking stop. It's gonna swallow me up, it's gonna swallow me up, it's gonna swallow me. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Where the fuck am I? Why can't I move? No, no, you get the fuck back up. Get up. You're a dick! Oh, I'm gonna fucking die. Yep. Yep. This bitch. I hate this. No, you stay over there. You were fine. It's not enough though to buy anything, right? Nope. Not enough for a goddamn thing. Ordinary stone that exists in the underworld has somehow over time gained different properties in the human world. Okay. I feel like I should need Sparta for this. Like, I feel like Sparta's what I need. I don't like how that throbs. Okay. Woo! Nope, no. You wanna hit this. This is what you wanna hit. Please don't swallow me up! Oh my god. Hi guys, hi, I see you all in chat. I'm gonna f***ing die. Can I just stay right here? It's gonna kill me! Yep. Good afternoon. How you liking DMC? Bring me back some memories with this game. Fanix! Hi, Fanix. I love DMC. I really do. It's a really challenging game. And it's really, like, it's not something that's coming easily to me, which I love. I really love the challenge. I love the extra, like, you gotta do this. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite game series that I've played recently. And I'm excited to experience the whole games. But how are you? I hope you're doing good. I miss your face. Hanny, I gotta go do some adult stuff. It was great to hang out with you guys today. And go get the adulting done. Honestly, we're probably about to wrap it up because it's been about 3 hours and I am getting a slight little headache and I'm getting hungry. So I do want some foods and I do have to do some adult stuff as well to get ready for work tomorrow. I'd really like to see a DMC Bayonetta crossover. We're gonna do Bayonetta next. I'm gonna do DMC and then I'm gonna do Bayonetta after that. I just don't know if I'm gonna do like a DMC game, then a Bayonetta game, then a DMC game, then Bayonetta. Or if I'm gonna do all DMC and then all Bayonetta. I don't know. But we're gonna hop on over to here because like I said, I am getting hungry. I am getting a little bit of a headache. So I'm gonna call it there. Please stick around, guys. We are going to find somebody to raid out to. Please don't go anywhere. I need to see who's on. I've only played Bayonetta 1, still need to play Bayonetta 2, but since Last of Us so started been playing that game, yes. Yes, I love that. I don't know if I'll ever play The Last of Us. I've heard it's a really good game, but I don't know if it's my type of game. I don't know if it's my type of game. So I'm gonna let you guys choose where we go tonight. We can go see some Chrono Trigger. We could go, actually no, not Chrono Trigger, because I think I'm gonna raid them on Tuesday. Because I think they're doing an event on Tuesday. So we could either go see Little Misfortune or we could go see some Harvestella. Either one. If you have a PS5, there's a 2-hour demo. That's how I got hooked. I do have a PS5. I just got one. Raid me and send everyone to Hell Cosmic. I swear to God. But yeah, do we want to see a cute little indie game, Little Misfortune, or do we want to watch some Harvestella? I'm okay with either one of those. one person I've never rated before, which, I mean, that would be kind of cool to go send. I don't think I've rated them before. And the other person I've rated a couple of times, but they're both fantastic people. So what are we feeling, guys? What are we feeling? Let me see. Let me actually see how long these two have been live. I'm all for indie. Okay. Oh, yeah. He's been on for 4 hours almost. So I feel like he's probably going to wrap up soon. Okay, we can go watch some Little Misfortune. So I think she's only been on for an hour and a half, and I know she goes a little bit longer. So we can definitely go. Let me make sure I spell this right before I send y'all to the wrong place. Yep, okay. We're gonna go say what's up to Tabby. I love Tabby. She's fantastic. Wonderful content creator. You guys will definitely enjoy it over there. We do have a raid message if you are sub to the channel and if you are not sub to the channel, so no worries, we got you covered. I would love it if you could copy and paste that into her chat. If it would let me copy. Can I not copy my own fucking raid message? Like, hello? Will you let me copy from here? Can I, there we go. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go say what's up to Tabby. She is playing some Little Misfortune. It is her first playthrough. She's wonderful. She's a comfy, cozy space, and just a fantastic content creator in general. I should be back tomorrow with more of the Ocarina of Time randomizer. Hopefully we can make some more progress in there and see where the fuck we need to go and what we can do to progress in the game. I definitely think I have to go to Gerudo Training Ground to get anything else done. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST will be the next stream. I did want to say that on Sunday, next Sunday, in 1 week, we are doing our charity stream. I'm going to be putting a flyer in the Discord and on Twitter, so you'll have all of that information in there. So keep an eye out for that. Go say what's up to Tabby